In this video, I'm going to take you through all the dirty tricks that real estate agents can use to make you pay more money for a property. All right, so before any real estate agents get angry out there, let's put this into perspective. When a person's selling their property, they've pinned all their hopes and dreams on a real estate agent selling that place for the maximum price possible. They want the most amount of buyers, they want to sell it for the highest price possible and make the most amount of money. So let's remember, it's a real estate agent's job to get the highest possible sale price for their customer, the seller. But if you're buying a property on the other hand, you want to get it for the cheapest possible price. So what happens? Well, the real estate agent's going to use a bunch of different tactics to try and get you, the buyer, from down here up to where the seller is up here to me. But what are these tactics? Well, today I'm going to take you through the 7 sneaky, cheeky, not nice tactics that some real estate agents will use to get you from down here up to there and pay a premium price for that property. All right, let's dive right in. Hey, before we start the video, don't forget, if you like what we do, subscribe or hit the thumbs up below. Appreciate it. Tactic number 1, which is the worst, is underquoting or just not disclosing a price. Now, this old trick comes in lots of different shapes and forms depending on the state that you live in. And there's been a bunch of stories last year where the real estate institutes have slapped on $800,000, $900,000 fines on real estate agents that have been proven to underquote. But what does this look like in practicality? Well, we see it a lot up here in Brisbane, where an agent might list a property just for sale, or they'll say offers over $500,000. And as a reasonable person, you might go in there thinking, all right, offers over 500 grand, maybe it's gonna sell for like 510, 525, totally within my budget. I'm gonna jump on it and try and make an offer. But in Sydney and Melbourne, it's been publicized that it's even worse than up here. And some properties end up selling for 10 to 25% over the listed price.
Oh, hell no!
On that offers over $500,000 property, that means it could potentially sell for up to $625,000. And don't worry, you're not alone. A bunch of people have actually written into ABC saying that they've been underquoted by $100,000 to $200,000 on different listings. But why do agents do this? Well, number 1, it creates competition. The lower the price is listed online, the more eyeballs it's going to attract and the more people go to the property, creating that feeling of you're going to miss out. And really, the worst part about all this is the person that's willing to pay the most is the one that's going to win. And the reason why it really sucks for you as the buyer is for a couple of reasons. 1, it's potentially going to cost you money. So you might find a property in New South Wales and Victoria, you're potentially going to have to pay for your building and pest report before you even make an offer. So it's going to cost you money in doing that. It's the time and the emotional capital of getting excited. You're going to buy this property, it's all going to be exciting, and then it's going to sell for way more than what you expect. So what can you do to avoid getting misled? Well, number 1 is research. Get to know the suburb, get to know what other similar properties sell for. So what do I mean by that? Look at other same sort of properties. So if it's a unit, look at units. If it's a house, look at houses. The same amount of bedrooms. If it's a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, look at recent sales that have occurred within the last 6 months. From that, you can triangulate what it should be worth. Yeah, and if all the same units are selling for $650 and it's listed offers over $500, then you probably know where it's gonna end up. We've also got another video on it. We'll include in the link below. Otherwise, my favorite tool is using realize.com to help get around that. Tactic number 2 that real estate agents use when you go to the open house is being crazy vague on the price. I don't know about you guys, but I've been to a few open houses where you sort of walk in, they take your name, your number, try and be your best friend, and then ask you all sorts of questions. Are you pre-approved? All of this. And then I usually fire back and ask, well, what's the asking price? And to this, the agent usually replies, well, we're testing the market. What do you think it's worth? We're trying to get a gauge on offers. We're open for offers, stuff like that. It's so annoying and they'll never give you a direct answer. It's literally the worst. Realistically, the agent already knows the answer. For them to have gotten the listing from the seller, they would have agreed that, yep, I'm gonna sell this property for top dollar and I'm gonna make you all this money and you're a really smart person for going for me as the agent. So what they're trying to do is bait you and get a sense on, well, what you're gonna pay and try and work out which of the buyers out there are gonna pay the most, and then they'll keep working that person to kind of get the money out of them. How do you solve this? 1, it's about knowing the area. So like I said in the tip number 1, do your research, but the second tip I'd have is know the area. The mistake I see a lot of people make out there is having too many suburbs they like and not enough knowledge around those suburbs. So really try and become a bit of an expert in that area. Narrow down to only look at 1 or 2 suburbs that you want to buy in. Get to know what's recently sold, what's not selling, and what's happening around that market. Know the other sales that have recently occurred, and it'll put you in good stead because at least you know roughly what the property should sell for. Tactic number 3 is FOMO. So I'm sure you've had this all the time where you go to an open house, there might be heaps of people, and the agent just tells you like straight up, you're literally the only buyer, there's no one else looking at this, just offer what you want because they're desperate and they're gonna sell it. It's amazing the times I've been out there and shown a bit of an interest in the property and said I'm gonna put an offer down, and the agent fires straight back, oh, well, we've got someone else that's interested and they're about to make an offer, so you better be quick, or I'm going to pick up another offer this afternoon. Or the worst I've heard of was some clients of mine that were going to make an offer and the agent had an envelope on their desk and said, well, there's another offer in here. You've got to know there's more competition. You're going to have to sign a multiple offer form and put your best and final offer forward. So the stuff to look out for, and just be aware that the agent's trying to pressure you, is 1, a multiple offer form situation. Try and gauge the open houses and get a sense, are there genuinely lots of people around, or is it just you there and they're just saying that? 2 is the old urgency trap. So you might be trying to make an inspection during the week and the agent will say, well, we can't get access to the property and you've got to come through on Saturday. They do this to funnel kind of everyone through there in that one day and make it look like it's much more busy than it is. And 3, I think have your walkaway price. So it doesn't matter how many people are running through the open house or how much the agent's pressuring you, but just know from your research, from knowing the suburb, what the property should be worth, put your offer down. If they say, nah, no way, they want this much, then just walk away. There's always gonna be more properties. Don't let fear, especially FOMO, push you and make you make an offer that you're gonna regret down the track. Tactic number 4, something that we see a lot in Sydney and Melbourne, and it's starting to happen a lot up here in Brisbane, is making an offer before auction. Now, I've talked about this before in other videos, but I wanna reiterate it, that the agent's always gonna say, we're happy to present offers to the seller before auction, and they're willing to consider and they're thinking about it. But unless there's a really good reason that the seller's gonna take the offer before auction, and I don't even know what that would be, generally it's not worth it. Unless there's a really good reason to put an offer forward before auction, maybe the sellers need to settle by a specific date or something's happened, they need to sell ASAP. Outside of that, I would not ever put an offer forward before auction. The reason is the agent's using this to size up you and work out who's gonna make offers where. You're not the only person they're asking to make offers for before auction. So you go forward, you're like, all right, our best and final is 500. Then they know on the day of auction, they're gonna potentially set the reserve to above 500 because they know where you're gonna start from anyway. And they're also using your emotions and fear of missing out again. So they might use it to adjust your reserve price on auction day and push you a bit higher, get you emotionally invested, make it feel like you've missed out the first time, you don't want to miss out again, and ultimately cause you to overpay. Just don't fall for that trick. Tactic number 5 are just like, sneaky tricks. So the agents are all bound to act ethically and all that sort of stuff. But I've seen situations where they might forget to disclose stuff. So a common one in Brisbane is flooding risk. So I've seen situations where a property has been flooded and pretty badly affected by the floods, and it hasn't been listed on the sale ad. So the buyer has had to go out and do their due diligence, and some people don't even check it. So unless you specifically check that the property's been flooded, you won't know until maybe you're getting insurance, or they might not even tell you. And it could affect your resale down the track. Another one that I've seen, which is so just shitty, is when agents have known about active termite infestations. So I had it probably about 6 months ago, where a property had some serious issues. In Brisbane, they don't provide you a building and pest report, you have to do it yourself. And my poor buyers went out, spent $600 on a building and pest inspection to find out, hey, the place is full of termites, and had the agent told them in the first place, they wouldn't have even gone ahead with it. So there's stuff like that unfortunately you're gonna have to do your own due diligence, make sure you ask the questions. If you ask the questions up front, there's probably a higher likelihood if the agent knows, they're gonna tell you. But just be aware that, buyer beware. You've got to do your own research and make sure that everything's safe and ticks all your boxes before you go ahead and put an offer down. Tactic number 6 is the old wide angle lens. So there's no replacement to actually physically seeing the property. I've had it a few times where I've gone out to see a place, you thought the second bedroom is a bedroom, and it ends up being a shoe closet that you can fit like a pencil bed on. So spend the time, go out there, don't be fooled by the photos, because the reality is it catches a lot of people out. Now, as a disclaimer as well, agents can't falsely advertise. So, if it's a 1 bedroom plus a study, they'll say that, but the photos can always present the property in a much better light than when you see it in person. Tactic number 7 is trimmings and not locations. So it's pretty common these days that properties are staged and got this sexy furniture and it looks nice and smells like cookies and you feel like you're gonna live there forever. And it's easy to forget about the fact that location is a massive contributor to property value. So check out tools like Walk Score or Google Maps. See what your morning commute's gonna be like at 7:30 on a Monday to work out, well, is this gonna make sense for me for a lifestyle perspective? Are there things to do around here on the weekend? Because it's easy to go to a property, get really drawn in and have like the heartstrings tugged saying the kitchen's so beautiful and the paint smells so nice, etc., and not realize that it's gonna take you 2 hours to get to work every Monday. Overall, my best tip would be to make a property wish list. Have a think about how many bedrooms you want, what area you want. Like I said, 1 or 2 suburbs max. Try not to go to too many places because you're not gonna know what's a good deal and what's a bad deal. You know, if you wanna do some renovations, and most importantly, what you wanna spend. You don't wanna overpay on the place and you don't wanna overstretch yourself because ultimately, you're the one that's gonna have to live with that regret. That's it for today, guys. Hope you liked this video on sneaky real estate agent tricks. I don't want to be mean to them, they're nice people. I've got agents that are friends. Massive disclaimer, don't hate me below. But if you have a comment, leave one below. And otherwise, catch you next time.